Welcome back to another session of Breakfast with Senator Cook. Sorry, I'm kind of late today. This usually takes place at 10 a.m., but it's Easter weekend and I had to spend some time with the grandkids. We went to the Ammon Park and there we picked up a bunch of eggs and the kids had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to Ammon and to the fire department that put that on. It was a lot of fun. Had 5 grandkids that went and played and got lots of candy. So it was fun to be with him. I am back home, at least for a couple of days. We go back in session on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. We have another meeting there. So looks like I'm hoping maybe 2 days or maybe 3 days we'll be back here for good. We'll be done. We'll be sine die. So that's what we're hoping. Anyway, I want to just talk about one subject today, and that's the Idaho Transportation Department budget. And that is the big budget. We're waiting to get that finished. It failed on the floor, from the Senate floor. It passed the House by 1 vote, came over to the Senate, and we have been going back and forth on that one several different times trying to figure out what do we need to do in order to get that voted on and passed. Lots of different moving parts. We have negotiated several times, went back with Senate leadership trying to get this to pass. They still didn't like it. We went back and forth and finally we brought it up to vote and let the people decide. And it fell short. It fell short by 2 votes. Shortly after that, though, one of the senators says, "Oh, I think I voted the wrong way." So we'll see what happens, but we're still working on that. Still got some options to look at, see what we can do. But I want to talk about 3 of the big things in that budget that I think are the big 3 that people are stuck on. And one is there's 53 new FTPs. The second part is moving the District 4 admin office from Shoshone Falls to Twin Falls. And the third one is the sale of the State Street property. That is the administration part of the whole entire Idaho Transportation Department. They own some ground, 44 acres on State Street, and that's where the administration building is and is everything. So I want to talk about that one. So there's 3 subjects, but all dealing with the ITD transportation budget, which is just kind of hanging us up in order to get back home. So anyway, first off, there's the ITD, Idaho Transportation Department, is asking for 53 new FTPs, new people, new positions, growing the government. So that is kind of large. It's pretty huge all at one time. You think, well, why are we doing that? Well, let me just tell you some thoughts on that. Is first off, in 2014, ITD gave back 100 positions, FTPs. It says, we don't need all these positions, take them back. Okay, and then in 2018, they gave back 30 more positions. And since 2010, ITD has reduced their FTPs by 185 positions. Okay, so I want you to think about this though. During the same time, Idaho's experienced a population explosion. We were the number 1 state in the nation with the biggest growth, fastest growing state in the nation. That kind of population growth doesn't happen without pressure on our roads and our freeways and our highways. Something has to give. You can't have that many people driving on roads and not have some wear and tear. So let me give you some facts on that. ITD has added over 12,327 miles of road in that same time frame. Vehicle miles traveled in 2022 was 10.8 billion. That's with a B, billion miles. That's up 24.1% since 2014. More people on the road equals wear and tear. Greater need for maintenance. You've got to do something with that. Growth demands more resources, more workers. IDT has given back FTPs when they don't need them. And when they need them, they ask for them. So they have come across that, hey, we're We're conservative, we're honest, we work with you, we make sure that we've just got the right number that we need. And so for them to give back, what did I say, 185 positions we gave back since 2010. And now they're saying, I need 53 more. There's been a huge amount of growth. I need 53 more. Now, one of the things they did is so ITD has a 5-year plan of salary plan. We start you here, and then we get you up to here, up to here. Within 5 years, you're up to here. But what they did is when they asked for the 53 new employees, they says, we want the salary amount that you appropriate for us. We don't want it at year 1, we want it at year 5. I mean, that doesn't sound right. So we did say, no, we'll give you the 53 FTEs, but we're only going to appropriate enough money that you pay for them for that first year. We're not going to appropriate all this money that you're going to pay in 5 years. And so you'd have all this salary savings that ITT would be using. And so we says that we're not going to do that. So what we ended up doing, by doing that, we saved $821,000 just the first year alone. So over the course of 5 years, that salary savings, the state of Idaho would save a couple of $1 million. Okay? So the ITD budget says, yes, we'll give you the 53, but we're going to give the salary savings. We're not going to give you all that money at year 5. We're going to give it to you what you need right now. So that's a couple of $1 million savings. So that's the first subject on the ITD budget that people are squabbling about. Second one is District 4. So District 4, that's Twin Falls, Shoshone. I don't know if you know Shoshone. It's a pretty small city. It's right there by Twin Falls, but you drive on the other side of the highway there and out there about probably 15, 20 minutes to get there. So Shoshone Falls, ITD wants to move the District 4 headquarters, which is in Shoshone, the city, to Twin Falls. And there's 2 reasons why they say we need to move it. One is the building's old. We need to get out of that building. It's not any good. Second reason is the commute time to Shoshone is too much. In other words, we can't recruit, we can't retain our new young engineers because of the commute time. Just can't do it. So 2 reasons why we need to move. So I went there. It took me 3 times. 3 times I went to Shoshone. It's about almost 2 hours drive from Boise. So I went there on a Friday or Thursday night. By the time I got there, it was dark, couldn't see anything. Tried to shine the truck lights in the windows, look in the windows and see what I could see, but it was too dark. Came back on early Saturday morning. There was nobody there on a Saturday, so it was kind of a dumb on my part to go there. But then I went on a Monday. So as soon as we got out of session or off the floor in February, I jumped in the truck and hauled down to Shoshone and walked in and says, I need to see your building. Show me the worst parts of your building. Show me why we need to get rid of this building and buy a new one. So they did. They showed me. And yeah, the building was originally created in 1940. The original part was basically a bomb shelter. I mean, the cement walls were just thick. But then they built on to it in 1980 and again in 1986. So, you know, when you build onto some of those old buildings, it's kind of like there's a hallway here and a staircase here, and it's just not real put together fine. And that's the way the building is. It's not real great, but it's a good building. It's solid. I ran into the building engineer, asked him, I says, I'm here to look at either maintaining this building or building a new one over in Twin Falls. And he says, we don't need a new building. We just need you guys to give us some money so we can maintain this building. And he pointed at the top of the ceiling in his office, and he says, see that stain, wet mark? He says, that wasn't there 2 or 3 months ago. We need to replace our roof. We need money to do that. Okay, fine. So there was a lot of things wrong with the building, but they had worked on it over the years and had fixed some of this stuff. The roof material, the liner had expired. It was expired in 2019. Now we're in 23, so it hasn't been replaced. It should have been replaced. So it's leaking. So, and then the next one, the guy says, well, I says, so we can fix the building. We give you money. He says, oh yeah, it'll work. And the other guy piped up and says, well, you know, the one thing about this building is it's cleared out here in Shoshone. It's out of the way. So the real problem we have here is the commute time. It's too far for these commute. We can't attract and retain young engineers because of the commute time. I says, well, how far is it? What is your commute time? Well, the engineer, he was from Gooding, and he says, oh, it takes me 15 minutes. It's not bad. I said, okay. The other guy says it takes him between 20 and 30 minutes, depending on what time he leaves, to get there. I think, well, that's not a bad commute. It takes me between 20 and 25 minutes to get to INL. Okay, they're on over there by the where the INL is at. Okay, I'm not out in the desert, so anyway, it doesn't take me that long. I think, well, that's my commute. In fact, I talked to people that work at the Capitol and some of the other surrounding buildings there on the campus, and I says, how long does it take you to commute to work? Some of them says it's taking me 45 to 50 minutes. Okay. Anyway, so I talking to these two guys, and I says, so is it really the commute that's the problem, or is it the salary? And they both kind of scratched their head, and they says, well, yeah, it's the salary. That's our problem. It's not the old building. It's not the commute. It's the salary. We need to pay our young engineers more. And I says, well, then do it. You got salary savings. You got the money. You can do that. So anyway, after that, I thought there's no reason to move headquarters and build a brand new building in Twin Falls, that we are just fine with what we got. So in doing that, again, this is a subgroup we're working at. It would save us $8 million to develop the site, $1.6 million for the building design, $16 million to build the new administration building, and $6 million to build the materials lab. So total savings is $31.6 million. If we keep where we're at, stay where we're at, instead of building in Twin Falls, we would save the state of Idaho, you, the taxpayers, me, the taxpayers, save us $31.6 million. This is a no-brainer. The building is structurally sound. We just need to maintain it. And all buildings have to be maintained. And so we're saying you need to put another $1 million on this building, get it fixed, get the windows fixed, get the things up to speed, and do it. So again, it's an older building, but it's not like a building you're trying to sell people. You want them to come to your building and invest. You walk into a lawyer's office or a financial office or someone else where you're saying, we want you to invest in our company, therefore we have beautiful entryway and rich, deep leather sofas, and we offer you a drink when you come in and so forth. That's not this. This is District 4. This is their headquarters for District 4, for snow plows and for everything else. So I just didn't see the reason, neither did the work group. So that's the second part of the ITD budget. Okay, now the third big part of this budget that is just ripping everybody apart, that people are just one side or the other side, and they are dug in big time. So we have a campus that we call Chinden Campus. We bought several years ago from Hewlett Packard, and I can't remember. I think it's like 100 acres, and there's, 10 humongous buildings out there. And so the state of Idaho owns that. And so we're trying to get all of our agencies that are in high-priced leased buildings, that are leasing or renting buildings, don't do that anymore. Move out to Chinden Campus because we own the campus, and so it's there. And so just move out there and quit leasing and paying all this money. So that's what we're trying to do. And so ITD, what happens with it? What they do? So they come back from Christmas vacation in 2022, and they find that their administrative building is flooded. A water pipe broke up on the third level, and the water went all the way through the third level, to the second level, and to the first level. It's isolated. It's not the whole building, but it's just the main part of it all the way down. It's got all kinds of water damage and everything else. And so they says, so we moved them for temporary movement. We moved them out to the Chinden Campus. And so they're sitting out there in the Chinden Campus. They put a study group together, ITD study group together in 2022. And they said, listen, we believe we can sell this piece of property on State Street. And it's a pretty prime piece of property. I mean, it's pretty awesome. It's got some riverfront property to it. It's got some trailer courts next to it. I mean, so it's not everything but it is prime piece of property. So the ITD did a study group. They came back and said, we believe that we can get between 80 and $100 million out of this piece of property. And in doing so, we can move our outbuildings and our labs and everything else. We can build those brand new at the Chinden campus out there in some acres that we're not occupied. The farmer's using it right now, but we own it. It's the state of Idaho. So we would build those outbuildings out there. And then we would move our headquarters, our administration over into one of the existing buildings. And he says, in short, basically it won't cost the state anything. We'll take the money from the sell and we'll use that money to build these other outbuildings. Sounds like a great idea. So they start marching forward. We give them some monies to start fixing some of the the Chinden campus buildings for them to occupy. And it's a 2-3 year project to fix it up. But what happens is we come back in November 2023. We come back and ITD sits us down, and this is the JFAC, so the budget committee, says, hey, you know what, we've sold the property, everything's done, it's all wrapped up. And they said, by the way, we didn't quite get between 80 and $100 million. When they appraised it at $31 million, and we sold it for $51 million. So now we're upside down. We have to say, wait a minute, we got to pay $50 million now to get the lab and all the paint shop and all the other stuff, put it out there. And said, that's not right. Why did you move forward? But we were told it's a done deal. Forget it. You can't do anything about it. Well, we found out that that's not a done deal, and that we can do something about it. And still there is no deal. The state of Idaho has not signed the contract. And so at this point, we are trying our hardest to say, I don't think we want to do this. Basically, if we roll this back, we will save the state of Idaho $71 million. Overall, the Idaho Transportation Department budget, if we passed it as is, it would save the taxpayers of Idaho $110 million. To me, that's huge. Okay, I think this is a no-brainer, but there's a lot of people that are very upset about it. Why are they upset? Well, on the sell, they believe that it's that you have a business that's been working. And we awarded them the price. It says, yep, that's the one. You're going to be the buyer, but we haven't signed a contract yet. And so there is no deal. No money has exchanged hands. No contract is signed. But there are people in the capital that says, yeah, but we've made them believe that they won, and they've invested time and resources. And I believe that. But you know what? As a software contractor, when I do a bid, I invest money, I invest time, and sometimes I win the contract, and sometimes I don't. That's the risk of being in businesses, and you know that. And so for us to say, oh, well, we think we owe them, just give it to them and not worry about it. I just don't think that's right. So anyway, that's kind of my tell today, is the ITD Transportation Department budget. That's what's holding us up. Hopefully we'll get back Tuesday and we'll get that resolved, get it passed, and save the taxpayers $110 million, and we'll all come home and be happily ever after. So anyway, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any issues, not much we can do because we're in the last days, but if there is some questions and some things that maybe we can resolve the last few days of the session, give me a call, text, email, whatever you'd like to do. It's good to hear from you, and have a great Easter weekend. We'll talk to you later. Bye.